Hi, everyone. So I just wanted to do this live really quickly to let people know that I have released the first 30 days video. For those of you who don't know, who are seeing me for the first time, when I arrived in Tanzania 3 years ago, a month after being here, I found, this abandoned building, and I started construction on it immediately. And that's where I'm sitting now. So when I did this video, I was deeply impacted by all of the things that were happening around me uh, as I came to Tanzania and started to, see the opportunities and, see all the things that I had been missing. And I had a tremendous amount of guilt. And now it will make sense to you because you have seen parts 1, 2, and 3 about my experience before coming to Tanzania. So you have a better grasp on what that guilt was about, and why that video was so impactful and touched so many people. And each time I speak to people in these workshops and one-on-ones, most people tell me that that's the video that really touched them. There are people who came and they say, well, Renee, that was the video, my first 30 days in Africa was better than my last 30 years in America. And I got emotional in that video because it was just this sense of I could have left a long time ago. I should have left a long time ago, and I was so ashamed of myself. I was ashamed that I sat in America so long and I allowed so many things to happen to me. And I allowed, so many experiences that did not need to happen, lessons that I didn't need to learn, um, you know, stories that I didn't need to tell, and I didn't need to tell them because I had gone through it already. I had lived it already. And I was just in this cycle of living the same trauma over and over and over again with the same people. And it had nothing to do with my education, nothing to do with my experience, nothing to do with my professionalism, nothing to do with how much money I made. It just all came down to, I was living in this pattern of wanting this family relationship that would never happen. And it was clear, as you can see when you saw my African repatriation story, that those things simply were never going to happen. And that final story, that final experience that I recorded, and I had these recordings, and I have many recordings of things, and I sat and I held those things in, I held in a lot of things. So anyway, people said to me, thank you, Jay Hardy. People said to me, Renee, that video, that first that it was my first video. It was a video that I did 30 days after coming to Tanzania. I was guilt ridden. I was ashamed. I was disgusted with myself. I was flabbergasted and confused that I was living in this dimension of existence that was not serving me, that was taking away from my dignity as a woman and a mother and my humanity. It was minimizing my humanity as a person. And I felt it and I knew it because guess what? I'm a foreigner. And so living in America as a Jamaican is not easy. It's tough stuff. It's really tough stuff because Jamaican people have this concept, this two philosophies. One is no problem, Irie, and one love. Those three. What? Yeah, I said two earlier, but no problem, Irie, and one love. That's how we live. So to live in a society like the United States is really rough for a Jamaican. So I knew that I didn't want to be there. I didn't belong there. I didn't like nothing about it, the food, nothing. And, to think that all I did was get on a plane and I was in this alternate universe where I had respect, I was treated well. There is kindness, there is good food, there is happiness, there is lots of green, there is sunshine, there is, to step out of that gray and into that green. I used to say to Jackson, like, I can't believe I sat there so long. I would be in tears for like the first 3 weeks. He would be driving me places and I would be crying because I was so overwhelmed that I actually sat there. I sat there and I endured it. And as if there was something written on the palm of my hand that said I had to sit there and endure it. And I went through a period of guilt and shame. And that is what that video is about. My first 30 days is better than my last 30 years in America. My first 30 days in Africa is better than my last 30 years. It is still one of my best watched videos. I had put about 2 years, over a year ago, about 18 months ago, I closed all of the videos, the early videos on my channel. And when I tried to open them back up, it looked like it would give me back the same date. So a lady spoke with me this week and asked if she could see the video. So I decided to go and see if I made it public again, if it would fall into the same algorithm or the same timing pattern. And lo and behold, it is actually in the same timing pattern. So if you scroll all the way to the end of my videos, you will find it. It is also in the description box of this video. So, or you can go into YouTube and type it as you see it. My first 30 days in Africa was better than my last 30 years in America. And, now that you have a better context of what my last 30 days in America was like, you can really see. And this is the thing why I keep coming back to it. For those of you who have a calling on your life, I am saying nothing different today than I did 3 years ago. If you know that the calling on your life is to go to Africa, is to come to Africa, you cannot ignore that. I knew nothing what was at the end of the flight from Qatar to Dar es Salaam. I knew absolutely nothing. There was nobody here waiting for me. There was no one waiting with my name on a sign at the airport. There was no one waiting to pick me up. Right? There was no house waiting for me to ease my transition. And so this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I feel and I know that, and I have proven that over the past 3 years, that people will come to Africa should they believe that they have a place that they can go to and a person that they can say, She is in Africa. I'm going to her. That's where she lives. And, and I can now attach my desire, my idea to a reality and a real person. And that is why I am standing in this space. I am holding this space in this line for you, come hell or high water, because I wasted so much of my life, so much, knowing I wasn't supposed to be there to begin with. But I couldn't have, and I didn't have anyone to say, well, John, let's go to Africa. And John would say, yes, dear, let's go to Africa. I didn't have that. I didn't have that. I had people that I would say, I think we should move to Africa. And they looked at me sideways like I was stupid. Why would you want to go over there? People are starving over there. People are hungry over there. Why would you want to go there? Why would you want to do that? They don't have anything. They don't have any roads. They don't have electricity. They don't have any food. They don't have anything. When I see Africa, I only see starving children. That is a perception. That is a part of the confusion, the occult confusion of Western media projecting an idea of poverty of Africa onto you. And if there is poverty in Africa, it is a poverty that was created by the same people who are beaming it into your living room and brainwashing your consciousness. It is the same people. It is the same people who created those circumstances. If you see anything of Ethiopian children with their belly swollen from like the 60s and 70s, and oh Lord, they were starving in Africa and they had flies all around. They don't tell you that was a man-made famine created by damming the Nile in Egypt. They're not going to tell you that by creating Lake Aswan, the Aswan Dam, that's what happened. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you about the starving Herero people in Namibia that the Germans came and completely wiped out. And a lot of the footage that you have to see of starving, suffocation, and famine in Africa was created by the very same people who are telling you that Africans are starving, when they themselves were the ones who were starving when they came to Africa. They came to Africa because they was hungry. That's why the Europeans came to Africa. And then they turn around and try to negate and tear down Africa, tear down African people, tear down African leaders, because they want the wealth and the resources. Open your eyes. Every single patriarch of the Bible was African, and they weren't poor people. All the wealth you can think of is on the African continent. And then I encountered this perception, well, they don't like us. They like you. Do you like you? That's the thing. They like you. They like you a lot. They like you probably more than they really should, because they don't know some of the isms and schisms that a lot of Westerners think. Africans like a lot of people, but you have to like them back. You have to treat them with respect and dignity. But before you treat somebody with respect and dignity, you have to learn respect and dignity. And they don't teach that in your culture. They don't teach it in America. Okay? America is an abuse culture. It is taking advantage of other people and abusing other people, and then turn around and calling it capitalism. Disenfranchising this one, defrauding that one, taking money from this one to prop up that one. People who are working 2-3 jobs to pay for people who have 5-6 children who don't have not one single job. Okay, an unfair abuse culture. And so it breeds a kind of psychological attitude towards yourself and towards others. So before you come up in here with your attitude, think very, very clearly, and probably you might need to do some soul searching and do some thinking about what you have been exposed to, and how you are going to go about into the world. A lot of people, though, because America is an abuse culture and the Western world is an abuse culture, most of y'all walk around with this defense mechanism, with this chip on your shoulder, like nobody's gonna take advantage of me, nobody's gonna do this to me, and I've been through hell, and I ain't nobody gonna do it to me again, and blah, 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 blah. And you come here with those things in your mind and in your attitude and in your soul and in your spirit, and you find that it is very difficult for you because you don't want to tip somebody a little bit of money. You don't want to show somebody that you care. You don't want to talk to somebody some kind way because they're going to take advantage of you, because that's the culture you come from. And guess what? At every turn, you hit the roadblocks because you don't know how to be kind and open and benevolent without an ulterior motive. And so a lot of people came and a lot of people left because they are not mentally conditioned and prepared for Africa. Number one. And number two, they're confronted with a different Africa than what they want. They want the starving Africa, and they can come as the great savior, and they have the money that they can, I'm renting a house and I've come to help and rescue you people. And they like the white people over here. They will fall all over the white folks. Meanwhile, you have sat with all of your knowledge, know-how, and your education and the money in the bank, buying Nike sneakers and the latest hairdo and the latest gears and kicks. Meanwhile, the white people have been coming to Africa and investing in Africa. I'm not necessarily talking about colonizers. I'm talking about maybe college kids that said, okay, I have a project. I'm going to go to Africa and see if I could run that project there. You can't be mad at that. You cannot in your consciousness be mad at that, because trust and believe, if it wasn't for some of these, the same Muzungus that we want to cuss out and call them colonizers, if it wasn't for some of them, note my keyword, some of them, Africa would not see development. So we can't be mad at them because we're the new tourist, we're the new refugees, but we're the new immigrants. So how can you have those things in your attitude and your spirit when you weren't doing it? When these college kids were coming with a backpack and two changes of clothes to sleep under the stars in the Maasai village just to be in Africa. Folks, to buy a plane ticket, you are going to take that money and put it clothes on your back just to walk around in Falaj like you got something when you really don't. Okay, and that's the problem, is that the West creates this material perception of wealth, when in Africa you need to have that wealth. We ain't got no credit out here. We ain't got the, well, grants are here, but you got to know what you know to get them. You understand? There is, it's just a completely different world where you have to do what you got to do. And the do what you got to do means that you have to know how to live, right? So let me see what was a comment here. Yeah, yes. There you go. Yeah, so I'm running these repatriation workshops. Excuse me. I was you. Those of you who had the calling on your life, and I sat there and I did the 9 to 5. I did everything I was supposed to do and still didn't get what I was supposed to get. And isn't that frustrating? Isn't that frustrating? They said to go to school and get the degree and you'll have a nice job. And you still weren't happy because you weren't supposed to be there. Your environment was not supportive of you. Your environment was not stretching you. Your environment was not giving you a chance to be you. And a lot of y'all, should your career disappear overnight, you might as well disappear too because you have no life skills to go along with it. Am I talking to somebody? It's 1:29 a.m. here in Tanzania, and I'm about to go to bed, but I'm talking to y'all. Okay? The video is up. Go and watch it. I haven't watched it since I put it up, so but a lot of people have watched it, and I know the things that I said in that video and why I was saying those things at the time. And I still believe the same thing. Was carrying an immense amount of guilt and shame. I was ashamed of myself. I was ashamed of myself because I knew to leave. And I knew I was supposed to raise Johanna in Africa. I knew it. And I sat there and I almost lost her. And when I was going through that, trying to get her back, the shame almost swallowed me up. So if you know that you are supposed to move, do not be like me. Don't be like Jonah, who got the calling to go to Nineveh and was trying to go the opposite direction and jumped on a boat and still ended up being swallowed by a fish and getting spat out in Nineveh. Okay, and that was me. I was trying not to come to Tanzania because I didn't know nobody out here. And what am I going to come out here and do? So if you are asking God, and if you are praying to God, and if you are seeking the answer and the instructions, and you are receiving it and you're overlooking it, by all means, accept and receive your whooping when it comes, because it shall surely come. And this is why I acted with such fervor when I got this place, because I knew what I was supposed to do. And I am still doing it, and I have no shame about it. I feel a lot better in my soul that I am opening the door and keeping the door open for anyone who has the thinking or the desire or the urge to come to Africa. Okay, a space like this and a place like this could have gone to someone who did not know what to do with it. I am sure I'm not the first person that this place was shown to. I'm sure of it. And everybody passed up because they did not have the skills. Why would anybody in their right mind come all the way to Africa and sink thousands of dollars into a construction project, not knowing any contractors, not knowing how long it was going to take, or how it was going to turn up? And maybe they didn't have project management in their skill set. Maybe they never took any classes in construction or building inspection. Maybe they never took any classes in real estate to know how to negotiate a lease. Maybe they never took anything that gave them any kind of trust in themselves to take on something like this. And whenever you are confronted with the reality of yourself, of what you have poured and put into yourself, and Africa will show it to you. You will see yourself here. You will see the things that you're supposed to do, and how the knowledge and know-how that you have garnered and amassed onto yourself will be useful for whatever project you find yourself in. Okay, so, oh, I got a mosquito. So I'm going to go ahead and put my email address in here. Okay, This is for those of you who would like to come to the repatriation workshop, and for those of you who would like to make a booking at the Exodus house. Okay, it's Exodus Africa 1 at gmail.com. Okay. And since I started up here, recently somebody brought it to my attention that there's somebody else who went and got a channel or name Exodus Africa. Why would you do that? I don't know, but it's us people stay. So Exodus Africa 1 at gmail.com. The first, the one, and the only. What missed something there? Oh, it didn't take? All right, hold on. Whew, mosquito. Yeah, so you people who know you have a calling on your life and you're supposed to be in Africa, stop playing games, stop pussyfooting around, stop wasting your time. Watch the video. You can scroll all the way down to the end of my videos. It is the video entitled My First 30 Days in Africa Were Better Than My Last 30 Years in America. Okay? A lot of people have asked me for that video. I'm going to start re-releasing the video, so come back and scroll down to the bottom of the page periodically and see what else I've released. You know, I have a plethora of videos because when I came to Africa, I was filming every day. And that was a necessary part of my process because I had chose documentary filmmaking as the tool that I was going to carry with me to Africa, to the continent. So I was retooling myself to make a more intelligent move rather than, you know, something just like rushed. But what I will say is that I have been preparing myself for a long time. Nothing beats preparation. Nothing beats preparation. No amount of money, no amount of family or friends beats preparation. Okay? So, and I'm going to say that again, money does not beat preparation, because you can come out here with your whole life savings, and if you are not prepared, you can make decisions that don't necessarily benefit you in the long run. You can make decisions to invest in particular things that are not fruitful or useful and will not serve you. You might look at it that, oh, it's not serving me today. You know, I want money today, right? A lot of people come here with this Western mentality that they want the money today. Like, okay, I put in $500 and it's supposed to turn, you know, into, you know, $50,000, and I need to have it on black and white that this is what's it's going to be, and that I can feel good about that. It doesn't necessarily work that way in Africa, especially Tanzania. You have to have a long view. You cannot come here with a get rich quick mentality. You have to have a long view. You have to also be willing to say, okay, this project is a long-term project. While this project is blossoming and blooming and growing, while I nurture it, what else can I do that will help me to move forward and be progressive? Because in my opinion, from what I see of Africa, or as a repatriate, because we don't have access to grants or loans or any kind of money out here, if you set a project, you need to set up a project that will generate income consistently while you work on your long goal. So that could either be working online, working from home, taking consultancies, doing other things while you feed that other project into fruition. So you have to have patience, and you have to have a plan, a proper structural plan. There are people who have come out here with ideas because this idea would work in the West. You have to be cognizant that the West is not Africa. Not because this will work over there means it will work over here. And this is why consultancy with professionals is important. This is why these workshops are important, because there is one-on-one and individual treatment of everyone's situation and everyone's scenario. This is not a, well, this is what you got to do, and you can't do this and you can't do that. There's a lot of detailed information. So those of you who are looking to come, you don't have to be coming to Tanzania. You could be going anywhere on the continent. The information will be valuable and useful to you. Okay? So I want y'all to go ahead and stew on that. Watch that video. You know, I think the things that happened to me were given to me. Thank you, Fulani. Those things that happened to me were given to me. I've never looked at anything that happened to me and go, oh, why, Lord? Why? I've never, I can't. I'm just not that person. I look at things and I say, this was given to me. This is a tool. This is a testimony. This has purpose. It has value. I might not see it now and I may not like it, but there are certain things that are simply just is because it needs to be shared. Okay, so for those of you who have been following me from day one, from the time I stepped out of the airport, you know, and those of you who have gone back to those early videos that I made, and those of you who have watched parts 1, 2, and 3 of my repatriation journey, and part 4 is still coming, because I'm going to be telling a lot of stuff. I'm going to be talking about a lot of things in part 4. Excuse me. Right? But you know, these things happen, not just happen to me, they happen, and they happen as a natural part of my experience, or your experience, or anyone's experience. If you decided that you're going to go into the banking industry, for example, you're gonna be a banker, okay? You know money, and you know how to get money, and you know how to lend money, and you know how to save money, and you know how to grow money. That's the work of a banker. But you also have to be prepared to be robbed, because people rob banks. It's just what they do. You have to be prepared that there are discrepancies in your accounting. It happens. Somebody said they got 10,000 and they put in 1,000. Okay? You have to be prepared to have cameras. You have to be prepared to have certain things set in place that have absolutely nothing with the work to do with the work of being a banker. Okay? So I am saying these things to you because when you are thinking about coming to Africa, there are so many moving parts and pieces that you have to be cognizant of. If you're coming here with an idea and think that there is an infrastructure in place that you can move into that infrastructure and fit right in, no, you are the infrastructure, honey. You are the infrastructure. You're coming with your own infrastructure. Well, back to this thing that I was talking about with the banking. If that is what you decided to do, you have to be prepared that other things are going to come with that. If you look at it and say, well, I'm a banker and I'm going to make $50 million for the year, you best believe that there will be $50 million worth of challenges coming your way. You best believe that there will be $50 million worth of stress and confusion just tacking itself onto that dream. And you have to be mentally prepared to deal with it all, to deal with the bank robber, to deal with the insurance, to deal with the discrepancies, to deal with the staff, to deal with all of that. You have to be ready for it. Okay? So anything that you're looking to achieve and acquire out of life, you have to be prepared to deal with also the negative part of that. Okay? And at the end of the day, you have to do your cost to benefit analysis. Is it worth it to me? Okay? So, for those of you who are entrepreneurial, Africa is for you. For those of you who have years in a specific profession and are wondering how the devil you're going to take that and bring it to Africa, that's why you need to talk to me, because I was a business development specialist and this is what I know how to do. Pivot. I can help you to pivot your knowledge and know-how on the continent. Okay? I can find value where you see doubt. Talk to me. Send me an email to come to the workshop. You may be able to take the same information that I'm giving to you to come to Africa and to plant your seed in another soil. There are some of you who know that you have good stuff in you. You know there is a greatness on you. You know that there is a blessing on your life. You know it. You know it. You know it. And you're not being stretched and you're not being challenged and you're not being given the opportunity to expand and show that greatness and goodness. And you need to be in a place of growth. Your environment is not supporting your growth. There are some of you who read for the entire year. You probably read something like 200 books. You have so much knowledge in your head. You have so much insight. You have so much that you have received. And you're living a half life. You're like a vampire. You're living only half of your life. Only the part that is useful to the American capital system, that's the part that you're living in. The other part of you that needs to be stretched, that needs to be grown, that needs to be expanded, that needs to take all of the concepts that you've learned and all of the things that you've been exposed to and put it in practice. You are not getting that opportunity and you never will. And do you really want to live and die like that? No, I can tell you, you don't want to live and die like that, because you are also carrying that same desire as I carried. And you also are going to go through a period in your life where you feel ashamed that you did not do what you were supposed to do when you were supposed to do it. And you're going to live, marry, have children, and die in a system that does not serve you or support you. And let's not get into the racism. That's a whole nother ball game. Let's not get into the mass shootings where you could just be walking down the road and eating a hot dog and bam, 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 bam. Let's not get into that. We're talking about your growth, elevation, and development as a human being and a reflection of God who created you, shaped you, and put in you the seed that you will grow into a mighty tree in which you are going to provide shade and sustenance to the other small creatures who depend on you. If you know you're supposed to be a mighty tree, stop living like a weed. Rip yourself up out of that environment and go plant yourself elsewhere. Okay? All right, I'm going to leave it right there. Pastor Rick said, hamster on the wheel. That's right. The hamster just running around and look busy, looking all kinds of busy, living a half life, not enough vitamin D, not enough quality food, not enough nice people to talk to, not enough sunshine on your skin, not enough intelligent conversations. Some of you are being killed by stupidity and entertainment. That part, whoo-hoo, Lord, that part, that was really a very difficult experience for me, because critical thinking dictates certain courses of actions if you're confronted with certain kind of information. And back in the West, y'all get misinformation. Everything is misconstrued. Everything is designed to divide. Everything is designed around, race. Race predicates everything down to the education system. So, if you have one iota of intelligence, that society is meant to dumb you down from the elementary school all the way through to college, because they have no place for people with higher IQs to stand out. They don't want you to stand out. They want everybody to be the exact same. And if you are somebody who, you like art, you like to express yourself through dance and play and all different kinds of stuff, they will dumb you down with some drugs. They will dumb you down from childhood all the way up until the very end. Okay? So, that part, the information that you get fed is filtered and is biased and is designed to divide your thinking, that none of y'all can sit in a room. If 10 or 20 of you are in a room, each of you have 10 and 20 different opinions about facts. When, as far as I know, a fact cannot be disputed. It is, but anyway, so that part, that mental dumbing down, of how information is filtered to you, that's one. And then you're entertained within an inch of your life. You're forced into so much entertainment. And so when you're confronted with quiet and your future and trees and birds and nature and life, and you don't even know what to do with yourself, because you don't even know how to make good cognitive decisions. You're defanged and declawed of your natural human instincts because of how information is filtered to you, designed to dumb you down. And let's not get on the water. Let's not get into the food. Let's not talk about that fluoridated water. And you can go and look this up. The fluoride in the water, I think about 12 years ago, I put a post on Facebook about how the enzymes in the fluoride interacts with the gut, the gut cells of Black people differently than Caucasian people and differently from Hispanic people. So, by design, the water that you're using to brush your teeth, bathe in, drink, wash your hair, cook your food is designed to completely disrupt your mental well being. Okay? So if you know you are a creation of God, you know you belong to God, then you need to be living in a lifestyle that is reflective of how God wants you to live. You need to be in a natural environment. You need to be eating some natural food, and you need to be sure of what you're putting in and on your body so that you can be the best reflection of that God energy. Okay? So, oh, hey there. Yeah, I've said it. It's 1:55. I need to be up early to get my princess ready for school. So, thank y'all so much for watching. If you have any questions, go ahead and send me an email. I'm still selling sea moss. Still have the East Africa Seaweed Company. Still looking for partners and investors and buyers who are looking to buy the sea moss and help us with the distribution. Still looking for partners for our facility in Masaki. Still looking for people who are looking to make reservations, bookings at the Exodus House, and people who are looking to have that workshop or that one-on-one. There are some people who thrive and do better in the one-on-one. The one-on-one does cost more than the workshop, but what you get out of a one-on-one is you're just not going to find that kind of information anywhere. And I wish some of the people who have gone through the workshop were here on the live, but it is invaluable knowledge. And so I believe that I have the ability to help just about anyone um, on their journey to Africa, whether you're an entrepreneur or a person who would like to become an entrepreneur or a person who has a career and does not know how to make that leap. There is a lot of information that comes out of these workshops that will help you to create structure around opportunity based on your specific background. Okay, so that's what I got going on. Thank you so much for watching. Send me the email. And yes, my first 30 days in Africa is better than my last 30 years in America. Scroll all the way to the end or look for the description in this video. It's a link in this video, in this description. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching.